Do you feel like one of the trails was more dangerous than the other?
I think obviously. Yeah,
yes.
Obviously the PCT
That's
is more
pretty
dangerous.
obvious. Yeah.
More difficult terrain. You know, I think there's like, I've said it before, I think in one of our other videos. It's just, there's just certain gear that you know you're going to be using on a more difficult trail that you just don't use when the trail's less difficult. But the thing is like, I think that when you have a trail like the AT, you can make it more difficult.
All of our stuff is wet. We hiked out in the rain, got soaked, and now it's raining more.
We hiked out in the rain, we set the tent in the rain. You can make it as difficult as you want to.
Yeah.
Add more miles to your day, get it done faster, train harder, you know, crush harder, do more side trails, do all the peaks and the presidentials or whatever, you know, that thing people like to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, it's as hard as you want to make it. It's as hard, it definitely is as hard as you want to make it.
That's true. All right, hello, every day from every time of the day. Okay. We are, if you're just tuning in, we have been reflecting on our experience of the Appalachian Trail versus the Pacific Crest Trail. Some people argue that the Appalachian Trail is more challenging because it actually has more elevation, gain and loss. So you're going up and down a lot more versus the PCT, you're kind of an easy grade up into the mountains, and then you have long exposed sections.
I think, honestly, the things that made the PCT harder for us, for our trips, were the river crossings and the passes, and the snowy passes in the Sierra. And then also, like, you can't deny that length. You know, it's like an extra 500 miles. You know?
Yeah.
So you might want to claim one trail is harder than the other. Well, one trail is 500 miles longer.
About,
so,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, so this 150-mile section of the AT is technically harder.
Yeah.
Well, the Pacific Crest Trail, you got to do an extra 500 miles to make up for that. So in my opinion, that makes up for that.
Because one of the things would be mentally harder. Which one was mentally harder? Yeah. You're all around the PCT was harder, yeah.
PCT was harder.
Yeah, but in some cases...
This is for us. This is our opinion.
Yes.
Because that was also our first really long trail. So we were still figuring a lot of things out.
Yeah.
The AT, we got to utilize everything that we learned from the PCT. So of course it should be easier. It's our second trail. Which trail had better views? Is my question to you.
Well, I think the PCT, yeah. Because kind of like what we were talking about, you go up into the higher elevation and then you just stay up there for a while. And so you're traversing vast expanses of, like, say, the high Sierra. So you're up in that altitude for a longer amount of times. The AT, it was like you were kind of like climbing up, and then you got a view, and then you're climbing back down. So there was a lot of like that up-down elevation that we're talking about. Though the presidentials, I felt like you were pretty up there. So like the northern part of the trail, I feel like is when you got the most views. It's like with these vast expanses that you may get, let's say like the High Sierra or the Cascades, you're oftentimes in a very exposed section. So it may not be quote unquote comfortable. It would be beautiful, but you're also like
out there for too long.
The sun is like,
you can't pitch camp right there.
And usually the water is down off the ridge, so a lot of times you're carrying your water through these high elevations and stuff, and so, you know, views may not equal just amazing all of the time.
True. Simply, views equal altitude.
Yeah.
So like when you're hiking at 7,000 feet plus 8,000 feet, 9,000 feet, 10,000 feet sometimes, and higher, 11 or 12 at the passes, when you're doing that for like 500 miles, you're just getting a lot of views from that altitude of hiking. However, I would say this, like views sort of implies like distance, like looking out into the distance. But there's also something beautiful about being in a deep, dense forest. With moss growing everywhere and butterflies and dragonflies flying everywhere, and like a sort of fairyland beauty that I think, you know, you might say the AT takes over the PCT.
One could be quoted as more beautiful because it quote unquote has mountainous views.
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily make it more beautiful because of that.
Like just the right flat stone right next to the river for lunch.
Yes.
Could take the cake for that day for me.
With a little bubbling brook and some soft moss.
In my opinion, oftentimes that is more beautiful to me, with the sun rays shining through the forest.
Okay, so which trail gets the sociability factor?
Which trail's more social?
Yeah.
Well, I think the obvious answer is the AT. Everyone always says it. But we went southbound on the AT. When we went the popular direction on the PCT.
Don't stop me now. Don't stop me now.
So I feel like the PCT was more social for us. Also, we were like, you know, we kind of knew about trail families and stuff like that, but I feel like
That's fancy.
other couples out there might resonate with this. I feel like it's different for a married couple. Like single people are like looking to build a trail family. We kind of have the basis of a trail family already, just me and you.
But it is an interesting factor that we did end up, I think, getting closer with our trail family on the PCT because of the harder terrain. Like you and I were both really nervous about going into the Sierra alone. It was recommended not to go into the Sierra alone. And so then therefore we did link up with people.
We
I feel like
we purposefully worked on our trail family more to create more trust so that we go through a more difficult terrain.
Yeah.
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 So when it was all said and done, which trail do you feel like physically changed you more?
Well, I feel like as far as weight loss goes, I feel like you and I lost more weight on the PCT versus the AT. And I think that was due to a couple of different things. I think it was easier logistically to have more refeed days on the Appalachian Trail versus the PCT. I also think we were more experienced with it, and so we focused more on our nutrition on the AT. So we ended up actually packing out more food just more often. I feel like
We forced ourselves to eat more calories too, with more money to spend on calories.
Yeah.
And we understood more about calorie crashing and how it could affect your mood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I really feel like on the AT, that was the first time that I really was like forcing myself to wolf down my snacks like every hour while we were hiking.
It would be redundant, I feel like, to say, you know, which trail do you feel like felt more wild?
Right.
But to kind of touch on, does wilderness and remoteness automatically equal more beauty?
If I were to just like put it out there, like really quickly, just to give people an idea of how I feel about it, I would say like 70-30%, like percentage wise. Like if I could get like 70% wilderness and wild hiking and 30% like cool towns and cultural city environments and stuff like that, then I'm pretty happy with that ratio.
Yeah.
You start to go too much in the wilderness wild stuff, then it starts to lose its luster because you don't have the comforts of a city or a town. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it's not beautiful.
You don't appreciate it.
You can't
so much.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Like going back and looking at the PCT footage, I'm wowed often at how beautiful it was.
Yeah.
But I remember being so exhausted in the moment and tired and sort of not enjoying it sometimes.
You're like,
know?
yay, another view.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have to get to camp before nightfall. I'm exhausted. You know, let's go. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like if you have, that was another good thing to the AT on that side, is I felt like we had much better attitudes the whole time.
We appreciated it so much.
We appreciated it so much more. And
yeah.
we really dialed ourselves in to where it was like, I don't think there was a moment when I was like hating it. You know, like on the AT, it was like fun the whole time. It was like so fun the whole time. And I really felt like.
We're at the Appalachian Trail Conservative Vendor Center Sunday. We're getting to everything today.
Nice. Well said.
Thank you. It's good to hear.
You know, that's a point to the AT. It's like, and cool, like the cultural cities.
Yeah, are part of it.
I felt like we're better. You know, we had Washington, D.C., the capital of the whole country. You had New York City, the biggest, coolest city in the world, you know.
Oh, yeah. Do you, like...
the side trips of the AT, totally. I mean, like, what do you got on the PCT? It's like Seattle. It's a nice city, but it ain't New York. You know?
Yeah. More trail towns to explore, more pull-off points.
Yeah, Bend, Oregon was awesome. You know, Lake Tahoe was awesome, but that's also kind of like our backyard. Like, we've been to all those cities before. We've never been to, you know, Salem, Massachusetts. Yeah. You know, it's kind of cool, you know?
Emotionally, intentionally.
Which trail changed me the most emotionally?
Yes.
Well, I guess I'd have to say the PCT. You know? Because the PCT, I really feel like, just to talk about us for a second, you know, we did baggage and backpacking in France. That was our first time when we were like, maybe we could be like traveling artists, and maybe people would buy our art and our books and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then I remember being like, if you write about the France trip, I'll do paintings and we can make a book about it.
Yes.
And you did it. You wrote the whole time. You wrote every single day.
Yeah.
And it really inspired me to paint. And you know, that was cool. And so then when we did the PCT, I really feel like the PCT was like us really committing to that and really testing that. And then the YouTube channel was a huge difference. You know?
Yeah.
We went from like posting about our trips on, you know, Instagram and Facebook and stuff to actually having a good, solid working YouTube channel. And
for those who don't know, so TravelWritePaint was basically born on the Pacific Crest Trail. It didn't really exist in what you know it now.
This is great.
Oh my, this is just nice.
Boom, painting kit. Boom, keyboard.
We set out to document our through hike of the Pacific Crest Trail. Robert would keep a watercolor journal, and I would write. Little did we know our adventure would turn into 6 months and 3,000 miles as we fought to keep a continuous footpath from Mexico to Canada. Through desert side trails, high mountain passes covered in deep snow, terrifying river crossings, and navigating forest fires, we bring you this story.
It existed in its soul, because it existed for us for as long as we've been married. But it didn't exist in name.
Yes.
We didn't really understand what it was we were doing. We still don't know what we're doing. The AT was a sort of manifestation of that change.
Yeah.
It was the growth of that change.
I was going to say...
Speaking of which, the AT book is looking amazing, and you guys are going to love it when it gets finished. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, no, that's a huge thing I meant to talk about.
The book's better.
With that, we just sent off our first draft, y'all. So it is in the final editing stages, which is huge and amazing and exciting. But on the AT, I could almost argue it changed us even more because it affirmed everything that we were doing.
Yeah.
Which is a neat part of that. Which trail would you do again if you had the opportunity?
Both.
Nice.
I would flip-flop the PCT. I would do it the easiest way possible. I would revisit the Sierra in the summer.
Say it'd be nice to be up north in Washington during the summer, during the early portions, rather than fighting the forest fires up in Northern California and like getting to that area. Where did you feel most yourself?
I'm gonna say the AT for sure.
That kind of goes back to how it reaffirmed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like the older I get, the more myself I feel.
the other thing is, people say they were like the PCT aged us. I wonder, like when I look back on those videos, I do feel like we look younger. But even when I look back on the AT ones, I kind of feel like we're younger.
Yeah,
but
at the beginning of the AT, we look younger. Yeah.
Hey y'all, I was this many years old and this many camp trips in when I learned this.
But I do feel like maybe the calorie loss and just the hardship that was the PCT did kind of age us a little bit.
Could be.
Yeah.
All right, don't forget to stop your tracker.
How many miles you get?
Let's see here. Distance, 9.3 miles. Not bad.
They noticed that we didn't have trouble keeping up with our YouTube videos on the AT. And that's because, one, there were more towns to upload, but two, we didn't run out of our battery bank. So on the PCT in the High Sierra, we ran out of, we couldn't post videos because we were in the High Sierra.
Obviously, the AT is easier to be more lax with your planning.
Yeah.
So the PCT is going to require more planning.
I would
100%.
agree.
Yeah.
I think it would be an interesting experience now that we have gone southbound to go and do like northbound in the height of it all and like experience.
Would you guys like to see that? We go northbound on the AT in the middle of the height of the AT.
In the middle of tick season and neurovirus.
And report on all the crowded, and commit to staying in the shelters too. Yeah.
Oh,
and all the most popular hostels in the bunk rooms.
And write down all of the experiences of meeting every single person.
Not our style, y'all.
The Canadian border versus Springer. Everything is cool.
When you finish the trail.
Finish the trail.
The PCT was like the start of something big, and the AT was the next step on that journey.
Are you all the way over in Canada?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, hello there. Step over my...
Ooh.
Yeah, that's all.
Wow, this is nice, eh?
Yeah, it's nicer over here.
For that reason, the AT can feel less impactful, but it's not. It was the next step. In a way, you might say the AT was even more important because keeping going is more important.
Yeah.
So it's like the AT was even more important because we needed to show that it wasn't a fluke, that it wasn't just a one-time thing, that we could keep it going.
That we had to get back out there.
So in that sense, in reality, our next trail is the most important, not the PCT or the AT.
Yeah.
You know, like the next one is the most.
Yeah.
Which we haven't told you guys yet.
Yeah. You're standing on the lines and they give you a shirt. And it says either Team PCT or Team AT.
Oh, boy.
And then you must go into battle.
I'm going to comment about this question itself. I think it pits the two trails against each other.
Yes.
I don't like that. No, I don't like doing that. I don't know that I'm going to play that game.
Fight. If that was a game, CDT would be on the sidelines, just being like over here, just watching, you know?
Yeah. I feel like the three trails are like siblings.
Yeah.
And the AT is like kind of like the party sibling.
Definitely.
You know, and the PCT is kind of like the middle child. It never gets, you know, and the CDT is like the older brother. That's really the one that kind of like, because the CDT is the one that's actually the hardest one. It's the longest one. Yes. It's actually the hardest one to navigate.
Yeah, it has the most logistical planning.
It's the most logistical planning, yeah. And so like this whole PCT thing is kind of a funny thing because really we're leaving out the actual hardest trail. You know, like, all that being said, if I had to pick one, I think I would pick Team AT.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because it didn't try to kill me.
Oh.
If you try to kill me, I'm not wearing your t-shirt. You know?
That's a good point. Yeah, it did hurt my foot. The PCT hurt my foot. What trail are you dreaming about?
I dream about Patagonia But I also dream about the Great Wall of China.
That was my number one. That's the one I dream about.
Because it seems so crazy.
It seems so insane.
And it seems so out there.
Yeah.
And it's not like a traditional
it's
trail.
It's not a trail. It's not a thing.
But it's like such a cool cultural icon.